Welcome back. Welcome back to Hope Shantae. I am back for week 3. You guys geeked up, and ready to go. I just finished watching the Usher performance, and it was top tier. Top tier. And I cannot wait to see him in concert in September. He does what he's supposed to do. And I love that. I love it. I love being in the presence of people who work their work. Like you can tell he practices, he's passionate about it. I am attracted to people who be working their work. I love it. So let me work my work. Let's go. Here we are, week 3 of week 3. And this is going to be part 2. Last week I started part 1 of how to truly know if you are standing on business about yourself. How to really know if you're standing on business about yourself. A brief recap. We touched on, do you treat yourself the same way that you treat those people or that person in your life that you care and love deeply? That was a clarifying question that you need to ask yourself. And this is not a one-time question. This needs to be asked often. The same way you go out of your way to care and love on those people and surprise them and go above and beyond to make sure they know that you like them, you care for them, you value them. Are you doing that for yourself? Another part we touched on is you maximizing your day. And why do you need to maximize your day? Because you are in your day all day. And standing on business about yourself is caring for yourself. You know what you like, you know what you want, you know what you need, you know what a great day looks like for you. So are you maximizing your day? Are you getting up in enough time to where you feel like you're not rushed, where you're able to put forth effort in your appearance, you're supposed to put forth effort in prepping for what you need so that you feel successful throughout the day. I do know that we stand up, we show up for our spouses or our life partners, or we show up for our friends, and we show up for our job. Oh, I can't call in sick. I gotta whatever. But all of the things that you make sure you do and don't do for these entities, whatever they may be inside your house or outside your home, you show up for them. Are you showing up for yourself? Are you sacrificing to make sure you have what you need for yourself? Another point we touched on, you have to give yourself what you need. I made a point about it's really nice to have people around you that care for you and affirm you and all that kind of stuff. That's all so amazing. But there's going to be days, and way more days than not, where your people are not available. They're living their lives, or they're focused on their businesses or their spouses or their children or their life crises, and they don't have the capacity to fully show up for themselves and show up for you too. And in which case, where you need to care about yourself enough to show up for yourself and give yourself what you need. You looking extra cute that day. Take a little bit of extra time and take them pictures, and then be looking at them throughout the day to be like, I look cute today. I look really cute, instead of needing to send it to other people to tell you look cute. Which again, nothing wrong with that. But in the instances where you can't and you need that, give it to yourself. Give it to yourself. So here we are, part 2, you guys. Part 2 of how to know if you're standing on business about yourself. Question number 1. That was so funny. Question number 1. Question number 1, though. Who's in your circle? Who is in your circle? It is said that you are the sum of your circle. I have made some very big changes in my life, And I am really dissecting myself, and I'm also dissecting my circle. And not like I'm cutting people off, because the people that I have, I truly rock with. I rock heavy with my people. There are some ones or twos that had to go, but outside of that, I have a pretty strong relationship with all of my people in my circle. But here I am venturing into really focusing heavy, like laser focusing in on really developing and growing and scaling myself. I want to grow and scale myself as a human, as a woman, as a mother, as a life partner, as an employee, as someone who is working out. I really just want to scale who I am on all of the levels. I want to scale my relationships, my romantic relationships. I want to scale my appearance, my closet. I want to scale up because I just know that the more effort that I put into myself, the sweeter life is going to be for me. And I also want to be a valuable asset in my circle. So while I'm putting all this effort into myself, I want to be surrounded by people who are doing the same. I want to know that in my circle on those down days, when I do have down days, and I'm needing something that I may not, I'm needing something. Like I need to call a friend. I got girlfriends who, they just feed me so well. They feed me so well. I'm so grateful and blessed for my friends. So, I'm able to get comfort and encouragement very easily. It doesn't take a lot to get that. And they also are very about their business too. And they also are into their appearance, and they're also into being better humans on all of the levels. And I need to be surrounded by that because this mindset is second nature for me. And I don't want to be in a circle where I'm having to to give a backstory on how I got to this decision or why I'm making this pivot in whatever that area of my life is. There are friends that I have that are not necessarily into hair and fashion and makeup, or really into being an entrepreneur, and that's completely fine. But I am very, very much taking this seriously, and so I'm actively looking for people who are also into those things, and I don't have to explain myself about where I'm going, and the conversations we're having, they're very second nature for us to be talking about all of the things that I'm interested in, and then I won't always, and then you don't feel alone in your journey. So, is your circle, do they see your value? Do they see your worth? Do they see your beauty? Are they comfortable telling you? Are they comfortable telling you that they're proud of you? Are they comfortable supporting you? Are they comfortable showing up and really being present for you in times of your life? There are a lot of times when sometimes we are the person. We are that person in our circle, but we're not getting it back. And that can be extremely tiring, draining. It definitely will contribute to not so great esteem. I have had great friendships, but I have ran into people that were not so great. And I didn't feel like they saw the value in me. And because of that, when, ties were cut, I didn't feel no kind of way about it. I didn't look back to say, dang, maybe I should try to fix that. Or maybe I should try to understand, how we got here. No, you kind of can feel when certain connections just aren't where you would like them to be, and it doesn't look like it's going to be there. And sometimes you kind of just keep them around as people because you've known them. But then there's some people that you just be like, I just need to cut that all together. And not like they're not great people, but you just want to make sure that what you doing and how you feeling and how you standing on business about yourself, your circle is doing the same. When you want to feel like life is progressing, you want to feel like your relationships are progressing with your life. You want to feel like your relationships, emotionally, socially, mentally, spiritually, they are progressing, and they're not the exact same. And because life is about progression. And so these relationships that you are in, if they are not progressing, they are gonna start feeling like a burden, and you don't want to feel any level of burden in your life in areas that don't require burden. I don't want to be burdened in relationships with my friends. I don't want to feel like this is a lot of heavy lifting. This is a lot of work. I feel like being a friend comes very easy for me, comes very natural for me. And so I want to always also entertain people who naturally and comfortably are friends, are friendly, are nice, are caring, are whatever the things may be, because it just makes life sweeter. So that's how I feel. Being thoughtful of your circle is a big deal. Just like you vet your people that you date, you need to be vetting people who are your friends. And you need to be vetting yourself on why you keep ending up with certain kind of friends if they're not healthy friends. So let me know what you think about that. It's a journey. It's not an overnight process. However, for sure, when you start making these changes and you really start standing on business about yourself, your circle is going to start morphing, and you need to be clear of why it morphed. And so if those conversations come up, you are confident and calm and are able to have a logical conversation, a clear conversation about how you guys got there. Because there are some that are really going to want to have a conversation about why your relationship has pivoted, and then you guys can come together and have that conversation. And at the end of that conversation, it's decided that you guys maybe just shouldn't be friends or close or whatever that may be. Then that's what it is. But you'll feel better because you have thought it through and you were clear about how you got to that decision. Another question of how to know if you standing on business about yourself, i.e., how to know if you really loving on yourself in the way that you should. Are you feeding yourself with things that grow you? A very specific point for me is I am dating to marry. So, because I'm dating to marry, I decided that I was going to stop entertaining shows that did not have healthy relationships, healthy marriages. I kind of was like learning and seeing that a lot of times my timeline, my social media timeline, and like the reality shows and things of that nature, even some of the people that I was hanging with, which is, it's not a judgment on them, but I feel like I wasn't being fully surrounded by healthy, exciting relationships, or watching them on television, watching a lot of Love and Marriage Huntsville, all of the things like Real Housewives. I love those shows. They're so entertaining. But I definitely didn't realize that they were starting to taint my view of marriage, Black marriage specifically. And I was like, I'm going to go ahead and cut those out until I am in a healthy relationship. Well, I'm in a healthy relationship until that it progresses to marriage. And then maybe I'll go back to watching that every so often. But right now, I need to be fed thoroughly with images that feed me, that reaffirm who I am as a woman and my values. And so if you were to take my phone, I wouldn't want to for you to always see me. The timeline is of like man hate videos, man hate comments, anti-marriage, anti-black love. Like I wouldn't want you to see that. If you needed my timeline to tell you who I was, if you never met me, I also wouldn't want me to be reading these things either. So if I don't want you to deduce who I am from my timeline, I need to clean it up for myself first. Is that making sense? And so even being thoughtful of the music that I'm listening to, you know what I mean? Like I love all kinds of music, but when I am like in hustle mode, very, 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 very much hustle mode right now. I have a lot of things going on, and I am listening to all of the music that make me feel so happy and so light, and so good and so excited about what's next in life because I need to be fed all of those things so that life becomes sweeter to me. You know what I mean? And so I just feel like it is a great idea to start looking around at your day to day. What's in your lane? Your lane, inside your lane, is, the things that you find funny, the entertainment, you know, the things like what are you seeing and hearing and reading and listening to that is building you up. It sounds kind of cheesy, but there was like seasons in my life where I was like, I am so depressed. I'm so unhappy. I feel extra charged. I feel like I'm overwhelmed with emotion and it's like negative emotion. And I remember God was like, look at what you're watching. Like all of the shows that's all fighting and drama and all of those things. And all of that stuff is still sitting on me. Like the show is off, but all of that energy, like me being affected by those things, it was still in my spirit, in my energy, and I hadn't rid myself of it. So I had to stop watching those things for a while because it was affecting me tremendously, like even down to my sleep, oddly enough. But I had to stop watching it or cut it back tremendously and evaluate the shows that I was choosing. So I hope that makes sense for you guys. And I want to touch on a last point, you guys. This point is so important. Are you giving yourself full permission to show up for you? Because that's such an important question, I'm going to ask it again. Are you giving yourself permission to show up for you? I think that the last video that I touched on wishing that I had these conversations when I was in my young 20s about what it looks like to care for myself, to love on myself, to love who I am, to be intentional about my journey, and to be sure that I was caring for all of the things that I needed before I was trying to take care of everybody else, right? And I had to admit that I was waiting for permission. I was waiting for permission for somebody to tell me it was okay to take care of me. It's okay for you to say no when that person says they need something, they're short on bills or short on that things, and you need it, but you feel like you should give it because they asked. And not feeling guilty for it. I feel guilt. I would feel so guilty if I knew I didn't have something and I was asked for it. I would be like, I kind of don't have it, but I'm going to do this anyways. And hopefully it'll work out for me on the back end, or maybe they will actually pay me back on time. Whatever the things were, I was hoping that the people in my circle would give me permission to not have to show up. I was hoping they would stop asking for things so that I could show up for myself, when I should have been giving myself permission to say no in the beginning and be okay with that. Even right in this very moment, I was going to clarify why I needed to be able to do those things, but that doesn't that's not a conversation that's needed. I shouldn't have to explain to you why I said no to sending you $100. Oh, you didn't have it? I am genuinely sad and sorry that you don't have it. However, it's still no. Whatever that reason is a reason, but I don't have to tell you the reason why. That's a form of me asking permission for you to be okay with me not giving you what you asked for. I didn't know that. I didn't know that part of me waiting for permission was allowing things just to happen and not setting boundaries, or not creating spaces where certain things just weren't even acceptable. I didn't even create spaces with certain people or with people in my life that there were no boundaries. No boundaries, no permission. There was no boundaries because I didn't give myself permission to set boundaries. Am I making sense? I'm kind of fumbling because I'm having so many emotions around this, because this is a big, 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 big conversation. I really could go off on this alone, always. Giving myself permission not to have to be the help. Giving myself permission not to have to be the help. I'm helpful. I'm caring. I'm loving, but I am not the help. And one thing I have learned is, because I was always helping, everybody was always asking for help. And so me always helping and people always asking me for help, coupled with me not setting boundaries and waiting for somebody to give me permission to set boundaries so I didn't have to always show up, was creating havoc. Havoc in my world. It was affecting my emotions, my mind, my money, my relationships. Never enough time in the day. There was not often a lot of like calmness and peace to me, because everything was just always just happening. I'm like kind of having an out of body experience right now having this conversation. This is bananas. When you don't have boundaries and you don't give yourself permission to set healthy boundaries, regardless of what people feel about those boundaries, you're not gonna live a fulfilled life, and you're in no way standing on business about yourself, and in no way are you showing yourself, not that you don't love yourself. You can love yourself, but you're not showing yourself love. Have you ever dated somebody and they said they loved you, but their actions didn't show it? But because you loved them so much and you wanted it to work, you would just hang on to the words in hopes, and you would kind of be doing stuff and showing up in a way you hope you would inspire them to show up to meet you there. And they didn't, but you kept holding on to the words of I love you. We be doing that to ourselves. Sometimes we do that to ourselves. I love me, but if somebody had to actually watch me day in and day out, nothing about the way I'm carrying myself, and it's not even like inappropriate ways, but the way I even like the way I show up in the world, whatever that is, it does not scream, I love me. And when people think that you don't love you, they're not going to love you either. Not the way you want them to. And so give yourself permission to show up for you. Okay, well, you invited me to this event, and yes, it is a big event and it's important and it's beneficial, but I am genuinely maxed out and I'm going to stay in that evening. I know it's important. I know you want me there, and I know that you know that I love you and I care for you, but I'm not going to be able to show up. And that's the sentence. I don't have to give you the reason why I'm not going to be able to show up. I want to be in a relationship with people, and that's going back to point one. I want to be in relationships with people who understand, because if you really rock it with me, if I say no, I can't make it, you know it's for a reason, because you know that I value being good to you. And so if you ask me for something and I say no, if you ask me to be somewhere, or whatever the thing, and I say no for any reason, you don't feel away, because you know that I value you and I show up the way I feel like a friend should show up for a person. So that the cycle and circle of it all. When you have people in your circle that really stand on business about you, and they know your heart and they care about you as a whole, when you set boundaries, it doesn't offend them, because you have also encouraged them to set boundaries for themselves. And you don't get offended either. Are you seeing where this is going? So being thoughtful of your circle, because it is a big deal. When you have a healthy circle, you thrive better with a healthy circle. When you're in a great relationship with a great person, you thrive better when you're in relationships with great people that show up for you. Life is better. Things are easier when you're in a space where you're being your best, and you're also in a space when they're being their best, and you're being your best to them and they're being their best to you. It's beautiful when you're being thoughtful of what you're feeding yourself, because it comes out one way or another. Whatever you're watching and listening to, it comes up and it comes out in the way you carry yourself and the way you feel about yourself, even if you think you were only watching it for entertainment. And when you give yourself permission to show up for you without question, that is a journey within itself, especially if you weren't taught that. That's a journey. But when you're able to do that, life that goes back to that scripture about God intended us to live life and live it more abundantly, have life and have it more abundantly. That is what abundant life looks like, where everywhere you turn, things are as they should be, or either at least on the way to being as they should be. And that is the goal. That's what it looks like standing on business. So between part one of how to know if you're standing on business about yourself, and part two, there's great work that can be done that is going to fulfill you for 2024. I think that I am always in a new cycle, and I always want to reevaluate all of these questions, because you never just arrive, because you're doing really great and you maximize this level, and then you transition to another level and you have to reevaluate all these questions again, because there's new things and new people, and you need to always be recalibrating your life to ensure that you have what you need so that you can be successful in that level or in that stage of life. I really, 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 really hope that you guys value this information. I just want to come back to this pink mic. The pink mic is just so cute. She's so cute. Oh my God. I love it. Yeah, I'm geeked about my pink mic. Anyways, I really, really, really do hope that you guys are finding this information valuable in any way. I really deliver it from the depths of my soul. And I take pride in these videos and the content because it was a journey to even get this far. And so being a good steward of the seasons that I've overcome and kind of giving you what I've learned in hopes that it helps you later is my goal. So I love you so much. And I'll see you guys next week. Bye.